So let us look at some example situations in which you might be receiving emails or correspondence. So it could be if you're already working, if you're employed with an organization, it could be requesting help from a work colleague, or it could be about some departmental meeting. It could be from a client who is complaining about a product you purchased, or it could be asking about a scholarship offered by your institution, right? So it could be inquiry based or it could be information based, like we already discussed. Hmm. So now let's look at the format of an email. We will take it one step at a time. So here I would like you to focus on these three elements. You can see the cursor um, uh, and the red box. So you have two, and then you have CC, and then you have BCC, and you have subject. So we will discuss these elements to start with, right? And then, of course, you have more icons over here. Now, first, let's understand what these three mean. And here you can see this is from. So this is the person who is writing or sending the email, right? So what does this to signify? So this and the subject line are integrated. Each individual mentioned in this line is expected to respond. Do you think so? Well, that is absolutely true because you can mention more than one email in the to column. So the number of emails that you are, so the number of email IDs that you are integrating or including in this space, when you integrate it or when you include the email IDs in this space, it can be one, it can be more than one. What you are trying to say is that every person who is included over here is equally important. You want to communicate with all of them about the same thing, and you expect a response from these people, right? So, this is the significance of putting email IDs in the to column. When you put email IDs in the to column, to space, you are expecting a response and you are addressing it directly to the person that you want to communicate with. Now, what is CC? CC is carbon copy. Okay, so you are sending a copy. Now, when do you send a copy? When you don't expect any action or a response from the individuals. That is when you just mark a CC to them. Marking a CC means that you want to keep them in the loop, you want to keep them posted about what is happening. So, the recipient, whoever is receiving the mail from your end, only needs to read or just take note of the message. Just they need to file the message. So you put the CC, you use the CC and you put those email IDs in the CC, which you do not expect a response from. So you're just keeping these people informed, you're keeping them posted about your communication with those you have put in the to column. Now let's understand what is BCC. BCC, it is used sparingly. Sparingly means it is used very rarely. It is not often that we use BCC, and it is best not to use this BCC unless we are very sure about what we are doing. So BCC, what happens is when you mark someone BCC, now, suppose you're sending an email, you've drafted an email and you've sent it to a person, then you've sent a copy to another person who you're just informing that, okay, I've corresponded with this person. Now, when you mark a BCC to a third person, this person gets a BCC, but these two people do not come to know that this person has got a copy of their mail. So, in case you want to keep this person's identity hidden from these two people, then you can send a BCC. But remember that emails once sent, they are documented and they are saved on the server. So it will be very difficult for you later to try and say that no, I have not sent this mail. So be very careful while using BCC. Hmm. Another instance when BCC is used is when you have to send the same kind of email to multiple people. So instead of putting them in the two column or CC column, what you do is you mark a BCC to everybody and you just mark two to one person. So what happens is everybody thinks this email is specially for them. So that is another use of BCC. Okay. Now, coming to subject. Now, you see over here that there is a space for subject, that is the subject of the email. So, now let's understand what is this whole subject business. Now, the subject of the email has to be such that the person who is receiving it should be interested, should be tempted, or should be prompted into opening it. Right? So now let us look at these lines and decide which of these is a good subject line. Now, if you receive something like 3 hours left, online shopping carnival, forward, you will miss, request for leave, need help. Now, what these are all subject lines. Now, what does each subject line tell you? Now, this is clearly about some shopping thing that is going on. So, this is normally treated as spam mail, huh? Where you are not interested. It maybe you have shared your email ID with some store where you had gone shopping, and they will keep sending you updates of whatever they are doing. The second one is a forwarded message of a forwarded message. So generally when you have this kind of a subject in the subject bar, you're it doesn't interest people because there is an impersonal touch to it. You know that the people who have forwarded you this, they don't actually intend you to take it very seriously, otherwise they would have drafted a mail separately, right? So it's just a forwarded message, that which is again a message which was forwarded. So this kind of thing needs to be avoided if you want to seriously correspond with someone, right? The next subject line, if you see, is request for leave. Now, what do you think of this? This is a phrase which has a lot of clarity. It is precise, it's succinct, and it has clarity. So we immediately know that the person who is corresponding or who is sending the email needs to go on leave, and this is a leave application. So a subject line should ideally be like this: need help. Now, if you look at this subject line carefully, this is also very vague. What do you mean by need help? Hmm? What kind of danger are you in? What kind of problem are you in? It is vague, it is ambiguous. We are not sure what this means. So chances are that if you are sending this kind of an SOS signal, you're not on an island, right? You are emailing. So it has to be more information based. It has to have more content, more clarity, right? Now, if this were not for a spam mail or some regular shopping mail that you receive, even this is a good subject line because it says 3 hours left. So it shows you that there's a time limit to this, and there's a kind of urgency to the subject line, right? So, but out of these, this particular subject line has the maximum clarity, and it has the chances of being taken very seriously.